Yo, Graysfordays, back at it again with another Classic WoW video. Guys, today I just want to go over a quick gold farming spot method that I just did to level up from levels 40 to 45. It's really interesting. You know, you've heard it before. This is one of the most profitable gold grinding spots, and it's really unique because you can do it while you level. And I kind of want to talk about it today and what my experience was grinding these whelps for 5 levels straight. So of course we're talking about the scalding and searing whelps over in the Badlands. There's 2 different areas. The south spot, they have a little bit less than what's in this north spot, and if you're a little bit lower level, like say level 40, whenever you come do these things, you can tell the difference between 1, 2, 3 levels. Every level that you get, you're going to be grinding through these things a lot quicker. So from levels 40 to 41, you can kind of, I figured out that in the south part, I could get these things on rotation with the respawns coming up really fine, but once I got 42, it started to slow down, or I started to speed up, and the respawns were staggered. So I went ahead and moved over to the north part at level 42, and I had a perfect rotation. I mean, right as I'd get to the last whelp, I get to the first one, they'd start to respawn right on top of each other. I was doing this as a feral druid, and I want to tell you why it was a really good decision to do it while I was leveling. These whelps, they have a ranged ability. It's really hard to farm these things in a massed AoE, like a mage to come here and get them all in a blizzard. You know, it doesn't really work. You have to single target these guys. And like I said, you have to deal with respawns. Now, you could abuse the layering mechanic, so you might be able to make this farm a little bit more efficient if you were level 60, but doing it during your leveling route is almost as efficient as possible. But we'll talk about that. Some small details I was getting 30,000 XP an hour doing this grind, and that's a little bit less than these 5-man dungeon grinds that I experienced, like in Scarlet Monastery, Cathedral from 40 to 45. If you've got a solid group, you can be pushing 50,000 XP per hour. My group was pushing 35 to 40,000 XP per hour, and it was like 2.5 hours every level. This grind ended up being 3.5 hours every level, or at least for level 44 for me. So that kind of puts it into perspective in terms of maybe that 5-man dungeon grinding if you're trying to push through the levels. But if you want to take an extra hour, hour and a half, do this grind, you're gonna make 3, 4, 5 times the amount of gold that you're gonna make doing a dungeon grind. And I want to show you why this is so profitable. We have 3, 4 different items on the list. So our biggest hot ticket item is a small flame sack. You've also got the chance to find wicked claws off these guys, and then if you do skinning, you can get worn Dragonscales at like 3% from these Whelplings. Now I think they drop up to 15-20% on some higher elite mobs, but I'll show you what all these reagents are used for. Also, you have 2 different gray items you can get: forked tongues and ripped wing webbings, and so you see how they stack in stacks of 10 and 5. So whenever I'd go vendor these things and I'd have my bags full, the whelps also drop about 2 to 3 silver each kill, and you can expect, I was getting 8 to 10 gold straight in my pocket from grays and the loot that I would get from these dark whelplings every time I'd go return my bag. So that was every 2.5 hours. So if you're trying to get your mount at level 40, you know, you get gold right away. Also, if you have skinning, you're gonna be turning in heavy leather and thick leather. Look, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, almost 4 gold from leather. So that's like nearly 15 gold every 2.5, 3 hours before you sell your small flame sacks, your wicked claws, your worn Dragonscales. And then I spent 5 levels here. I was fortunate enough, I got the mother-sucking dark Whelpling, baby. And from 34 to 40, I was farming the ones in Swamp of Sorrows, baby. Anyways, I got the tiny emerald Whelpling. I went ahead and threw that one down. Like, I don't even have it equipped right now. I'll show you real fast. Yeah, there he is, baby. But I'm holding off the dark Whelpling. I'm probably gonna sell it, but it's not as rare just because there's so many of these mobs. Also, well, we'll go over it. Now, check this out. These are like the official stats. So, small flame sack, these are dropping off. These have the best percentages off these scalding and searing whelps. You're looking at 13%. It's one of the most efficient ways to get these small flame sacks. And why is this so valuable? Well, it's the reagent for fire protection potions. You know, Molten Core's coming out. Every single guild is going to be stacking these things. There's not going to be enough small flame sacks in the world. There's not going to be enough fire protection potions going around. So I'm about to make a fortune in the coming, 6 weeks, 3 months, just off of all the fire protection potions. Also, one other unique item you can make with these is Dragon Breath Chili, and this is something I'm gonna have personally for my 39 twink. Maybe even while I'm leveling from 35 to 50 on my alts, I'll have it just for world PvP and give me a little bit of an upper edge. But that's what the small flame sacks are used for. Then we have the Wicked Claw that's dropping off these guys. Now, in comparison, You have bigger elites, you know, a lot harder monsters that drop these at a higher rate. But these guys are dropping Wicked Claws at 3%, which isn't terrible, but they're used for the best in slot Lionheart Helm for warriors in the end game, and then Wolfshed Helm, best in slot druid. So you can see it takes 8 and then 40 for the Lionheart Helm, 8 for the Druid Helm. I've probably got 25 Wicked Claws in this one farm spot after 8 to 10 hours, the 5 levels that I spent here. I did like an SM run or two, but I spent about 8 to 10 hours and I got 25 Wicked Claws. So that's for the Wolfshed Helm. Also, the Worn Dragonscales. Now, these are dropped off of some guys, but at an extremely low level. They're really skinned well off these elites, some of the bigger monsters, but it's like a 3% rate on these Whelplings compared to 5, 7, 8, 9. So this isn't a bad spot to get Worn Dragonscales. I got 28 of these in this entire farm. And as you can see, they're used for the Dragonscale Breastplate and the Dragonscale Gauntlets. Really, the Dragonscale Gauntlets, you could probably make 10 to 15 gold a piece off of these if you're a Dragonscale Leatherworker. And as you can see, 30 and 12, you're going to need a lot of these more Dragonscales. These are of value. Lastly, one thing I really love about this farm and really appreciate is the fact that you have a 0.01% chance to get a pet. One of 3 Dark Whelpling pets. Check this out. We have Dark Whelplings, Tiny Crimson Whelplings, and Tiny Emerald Whelplings. And of course the Dark Whelplings belongs in this spot. Also in Dustwallow Marsh, you can get it off the Elite Whelps. That Tiny Emerald one, the one that I found, it was off the, I think it's one of the rarest ones just because the limited amount of green whelps in the Swamposaurus, but then you have the Tiny Crimson Whelpling that drops off the Whelplings in Wetlands. But anyways, all that combined, I mean, you've got big ticket items and you have 2 grays that are dropping off these whelps on every single kill. Also, you're getting 2 silver and you can skin these guys. So the point is, there's not another mob, there's not another grinding spot that has so many items that brings so many different ways to make money to the table, right? And this is one of the most efficient gold per hour grinds that you're going to be able to find in the game. So, and like I said, at level 60 you can grind this, but not at that much of a faster rate because you can't really mass AoE farm these guys, and unless you abuse the layering mechanic, you know, that's where it would be more efficient to be at level 60, but I thought I might as well grind 40 to 45. I'm going to need levels anyways, so I'm going to be making, you know, like I said, 10 gold every 2.5 hours just from the raw gold you pick up and the vendor items you sell. But in the future, the coming weeks, I'm going to be cashing in these small flame sacks, the Wicked Claws, the Worn Dragonscales, and eventually, hopefully, sell this Dark Whelpling for, you know, 500 to 1,000 gold. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to go over this farm. It was a super fun farm for me to do. It was, It was a lot of fun. It seemed kind of mundane, but earlier, you know, I got the Tiny Emerald Whelpling, and I've never farmed for pets. I've never done a crazy grind going after a drop that's like 0.01%, and it drops off like a specific mob. So I never experienced this, but the first time a Tiny Emerald Whelpling dropped, I was sold. I was level 39 right when it happened. It was at the end of my grind. I was like, you know what? I'm doing this in the Badlands. And I got it to drop after 10 hours later. It's super fun. If you've never done it before, you should definitely go for it. I don't know how many mobs there are in the game that have a super low % chance to drop either a pet. I know that there's the Oozeling that drops off those bags, off the oozes and in the Plaguelands. But yeah, this is a unique mob, a unique farm spot that there's only a handful of these spots in the game. And so it really paid off for me. Like I said, really take advantage of this. In phase 1, while we have layering, I can't tell you how many times I jumped around layers just to avoid some of the alliance that I ran into. I also had a lot of alliance leave the layer that I was on, so it was pretty much an automatic farm at all times. You know, I'm a little bit ahead of the leveling process too because I've been no-lifing it all week. You know, don't have a job. It's your boy Graysfordays, but I just wanted to take advantage of this spot. So it was a really unique experience. Hopefully you can get in here and do it yourself, and you'll be able to make a lot of gold if you're trying to get your mount at level 40. Hopefully this video helps out. I just want to make a quick one. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch me over on twitch.tv. I got reaction videos on the Tiny Emerald Whelp. I'm about to throw one up on the Dark Whelpling. You know what? I gotta go for the trio now. I gotta go for the Tiny Crimson Whelpling. The only thing I don't like about it is that they're level 25 mobs. I'm not gonna be gaining levels. It kind of feels like a waste. But I may do it at level 60. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm level 45 as of making this video. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have any comments about it or questions about it, throw it down in the comments below. I'll try and answer them. Thanks for watching, guys. It's your boy Graysfordays. Howdy.